Dear Shrestha viewers, welcome to Shrestha Gnanadayini. In the last class, I have discussed about the determinants of demand. In that last class also I discussed about the definition of demand. So I hope these both concepts are clear for you. Actually today the topic we are going to discuss is about the types of goods. This must be have discussed many days before, but I am discussing it now because hereafter we are going to use these terms every now and then. So I wish that you should have the knowledge of all these terms before going into the concepts, because we get to know many terms like this. So stopping everywhere and again explaining it might get the time waste. So just let's discuss it now only. And I ask for apologize, like in the last class there was a small interruption, a kind of disturbance at the last, so kindly excuse for that. From here after I try to not to make such kind of disturbances. And today let's go into the concept, but before going into that, if you are new to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe to Shrestha Gnanadayini, hit the bell icon to get many interesting stuff on my channel like this, and also stay tuned to Shrestha Gnanadayini. Now, types of goods. First of all, what is the term good? Any item that is tangible. They are, when we talk about the goods, they are tangible and intangible. Now if I say air, what? I mean air. Can you touch it? You can just feel it. But where is the tangible good like pen, board, duster, etc. are the goods which are tangible. So types of goods we are going to discuss is a topic today. So firstly we are going to discuss about the consumer goods. So as I said you, all the tangible goods that are consumed by us, consumers are we itself. So all the goods that are used to consume in a normal basis, it is a very basic point. I am consuming this board, which means I am using it for my classes, I am using this pen to write, I am using this mic to talk, etc. All these are consumer goods. Not only this, food, clothes, jewelry, etc. whatever are used by us, and those are tangible, which means you can touch it. So that is called consumer goods. Examples I have already given you. Those are food, cloth, jewelry, etc. I am writing it in the short form, but I have spelled it so you can make the note of the examples. And then coming to producer goods. Now here the producer goods means, first we have to go into some more depth when we are talking about three different kinds of goods. So firstly, raw materials, then intermediary goods or semi-finished goods, then final goods. Yes, so here we are going to discuss about some more depth of the things that are raw materials, and then intermediary goods and finished goods. This is the three-level classification. Now the producer goods are named as intermediary goods, the middle stage. Now you can say gold is an intermediary good and it is also a raw material, and it comes under the finished goods by the final value. So first, if you take a gold as a raw material, it is taken from ground. Can you see the pure gold, the raw material of the gold, how it looks? We don't have any idea. But when it is into producer goods, it means it has some shape, like this is called gold. Then when it comes to final goods, that is a form you wished to have that particular gold. That can be either in a form of biscuit, or it can be in a form of a chain, it can be a form of a bracelet, or whatever you need. And many things are there like that, like even crude oils. First of all, whatever it is extracted is called crude oil. Then it is classified into what kind of oil you need, like that as diesel, petrol, or whatever examples. So that is called The semi-finished goods or the intermediary goods is the mid process of the goods transforming from raw materials to finished goods, and producer goods are called as intermediary goods. Clear? Example is gold, oils, etc. Now, as I said you the examples, I'm just writing it here in the short forms. I hope you understand. Now we are going into capital goods. So capital goods are the other form. Now whatever we have discussed, like a producer goods is the intermediary goods, but capital goods are different, which means the goods that are used to produce other goods are called capital goods. Example, machines, equipments. What are those? Machines, equipments, etc. So what are these kinds of machines? We have many factories for clothing and also many factories for extraction of different items, minerals like this, and also many things for different kinds of items. So whatever the machines that are useful in doing such kind of items are called capital goods, and again they should be tangible. Okay. So those are capital goods. Understood about these three terms. Firstly, we have discussed about the consumer goods that are normally that is consumed by everyone, and that should be tangible. And all the raw materials, and the another point I have to add it here is all the raw materials and intermediary goods cannot be the consumer goods. Once it reaches its final stage, then only it is called as a consumer good. For example, even if you take a direct cow milk, can you consume it directly? No. First of all, some process is done. Either if it is given to you directly, but also you are not going to consume it like that. You are going to boil it, or you are going to store it for some time of period in the fridge or somewhere and then you are going to boil it, and then you are going to change it to your form like how you like. Either it is like a milk or a curd, then finally the process is done, then you are going to consume it. So all the raw materials and intermediary goods are not also the consumer goods. Okay. So the important point to be noted here. And as I said you about the intermediary goods, the producer goods are called the intermediary goods, and capital goods are nothing but the machinery or equipments. So as I said you, now even to make the chalk pieces, even to make this kind of pens, etc., we need some machines, right, to make this kind of boards, etc. Now the business and the producer things or something, that doesn't mean only the large scale automobiles or something like that. Even the small things we use today, these are also important. Without these board and all, how can I reach to you? Yes or no? So every small thing is considered important, and how these things are made through some machines only, right? So that machines, we are investing in that. So those are called capital goods. Examples I have already said you. So I hope I made again and again clear about these 3 points. Now the fourth thing is normal goods. Normal goods are something like it is consumed by all kinds of people. Until we have a financial eye on it, we don't have to segregate it into the inferior or superior or normal goods. If you take out the financial flavor aside, then all goods are goods. There is nothing special in that. But you know, as a normal goods, when you name it with the financial terms, then you feel like some people will consume normal goods and inferior goods much, because normal goods and the less thing is the inferior goods. So when you're getting inferior goods in a large quantity and normal goods, then we name it in the financial eye as it like that. Otherwise, normal goods are goods that are consumed by everyone. Okay, for example, again it comes like a food, cloth, jewelry, etc. When the purchasing power of the consumer is also the same, but also he wants to purchase much of the amount, then that is called normal goods. Then inferior goods. Now when you are saying about the inferior goods, what happens is, that is according to, again I'm saying, in the financial eye, when a less than consumer who is having a very less income and his preferences are very low, they buy inferior goods which are less than the normal goods, which are cheaper in rates and more in the quantity, and they don't search for a best brand, they just go on with the whatever things are available. So those are inferior goods. For example, you can take a, okay, phone is necessary now, but the phone which a very high luxurious person uses and the normal inferior person uses, there is a vast difference. He can't use the same phone as a luxurious as that, so he uses a normal Nokia kind of phone, small phones, for which his main thing is to meet the requirement is like to call and talk, that's it. And now that is called inferior goods, and the same thing superior goods. So the opposite of inferior is superior, or it can also be said that is next to normal goods. Normal goods and opposite is inferior goods. Got it? So I hope you understood that. And then given goods, here it acts in a different formula. So according to given paradox, so we say when a person has very low income levels and he has two choices like rice and meat. When rice is available at less quantity, you think now because rice is available at a less quantity, he will buy that more, and also he buys the meat both at the same level. No, he has to sacrifice one item for another item because his income is very less, and whatever he is getting at a lesser rate and more, he is going to prefer that only, and he leaves meat for rice. Now he is sacrificing meat for rice, which means he gets high amount of rice and he leaves meat for a period of time until it meets his requirement, and once his income rises or the price of the rice rises, then he shifts to meat. Got it? So here there is a positive, there is no positive relation between the price and the demand, like how it increases. Now what is the relationship between the price and demand here? So one price increases, the demand for other also increases. Here this is rice and this is meat. So here the rice demand has increased and the meat demand has decreased. Okay. So it is a bit confusing, but if you understand, so in given goods, I am telling it about the given goods. So here there are two items, rice and meat. So when there is a person whose income is less, then what do you think? Like you have favorite various choices to eat? No, whatever is cooked once, only that has to be shared with whole family. Yes or no? And now we don't have like a choices like I need chow mein, I need noodles, etc, etc. Whatever is cooked, that is only shared by the entire family. So when the person's income is less and you see in a market for a particular product there is less price, you have both products option. So one price is very less, obviously the demand increases for the product and vice versa. So like that he consumes more of rice and puts meat for a side for a period of time, and once the meat rate is reduced, then the demand for meat will increase, and rice anyhow he can supplement it with other wheat or something like that which are available at less prices. Yes or no? So that is an example given for given goods, and this is about the inferior goods. Got it? And then now substitute goods. Now as I said you, substitute goods are the combination goods. Okay, easy to say example is like coffee, tea, and one person who is having the habit of drinking both the things. So if tea rate is high, he can shift to coffee. If the coffee rate is high, he can shift to tea. So he is a coffee person and also tea person. Then if the tea rate increases, he goes to coffee. Again, if coffee rate increases, he goes to tea. Got it? But Here the price and the demand has a inverse relationship, which means opposite. If price increases, demand decreases. If demand increases, then price decreases. Got it? But now here in complementary goods, next coming point is about the complementary. Here the demand and price doesn't have this kind of relationship. Here it is different. Now if you like a product, something like car, now you want a car, then indirectly you have to like the petrol also. Yes or no? So the complementary is petrol. So you have to incur both the expenses, also the car and also the petrol. Now catch once, leave once. If you want to catch the car, you should also catch the petrol, and if you don't want the car, then you don't even want to have the petrol also. And for example, tea also, or coffee. Now if you want tea or coffee, what is a complementary to that? It is the sugar and milk. Yes or no? Sugar and milk. So when you don't have these both things, then it is waste of having this coffee and tea. You can't have it directly like this. You should mix in some things. Okay, I am a diabetic patient, I don't need sugar, but you at least need the milk. You can't drink it like that. So when both of the things are unnecessary for you, then automatically this is also unnecessary. So that is a relationship between the complementary goods and how it affects the price and demand. So you can't compromise anything for anything. So if your car runs with petrol and its rate is increased and you are unable to pay, then you have to sacrifice both the things, car and petrol. Otherwise you can move on to the cheaper choice. Again, if you want a diesel vehicle, you have to go for that. Means you have to shift everything, catch one, then leave that one also. So that is called complementary. Then public goods. Public goods, again, that are, we can say, that are freely available for everyone, that is utilized by everyone, for which the government adds the taxes but nothing else. So here they have to pay the taxes and it can be used by everyone. It is a public property. That's simple. Okay, so you can give an example of land, building, etc., which is used by everyone. Then finally you have to pay a tax for what you are using and cleaning, etc., like for which you have to pay at the end, like you will be giving some examples. And private goods. Now private goods, which means that is owned by a firm and you have to take it only if you want to consume it, then it will be charged. It's not like a private, it's not like a public good that you can use whenever you want. And once you acquire this private property or the private good, the amount for other usage of other people will decrease. That will become a short portion for others, and you can buy it, then you should only use it. It is like that. So private goods are something like anything like an entrepreneur, a business. So now we have kinds of warehouses, we can take it as an example. So when it is coming to public warehouses, anyone can store their goods, like whatever the goods they are near to the ports or near to the seaport areas or airport areas, they can use that public warehouses. But when it is coming to a private enterprise warehouse, you don't have any permissions to go and store your goods there. That is especially for the private institutions itself, and that will be marked by some institutions, only they can store, or otherwise it can also be like a private, for private people. So that's the difference between private and public goods. So I hope you understood. You can take the warehouse example. And now economic goods. According to economics, all the tangible goods that are consumed by the consumers and that has a particular rate, then those are called economic goods. And that can also be man-made goods. Those are man-made goods which we are using it. Yes or no? So that will be charged. For example, pen, book, Okay, food, clothes, etc., whatever that is man-made and we are using it, so we are paying for it. So that is called economic goods that are used by everyone. So what are those? Pen, book, clothes, food, shelter, etc. Yes, understood? Now what are free goods? Sunshine, rainfall, air. Who are paying for this? Now water, I don't say water because that is also being charged these days because it's become a scarce resource. And that another point I want to add it here is all the things that are scarcely available. Okay, the resources which are scarcely available and that too they are man-made for which they are charging, then those are economic goods. Now water has also entered into the economic good that we have to pay and use. Now we are paying the water bills also. Now free goods we can say example is sunshine and rainfall and also air. Now who is asking you, like if you want to consume a particular this much time of air, pay me for this much time, like 10 hours you want air, then pay me some 10,000 rupees for this particular time. No one is asking you. Still we didn't enter into that such worse situation. So now we can still consider the sunshine, rainfall and the air as a free goods. Okay, that are without any restriction used by all the people on this earth, and those are natural nature gifts or God gift to us. So these are different kinds of examples and the meanings of different kinds of goods. Now at least hereafter we will understand it very clearly, all the concepts, because furtherly we are going to understand about the elasticities of demand and the negative curves, opposite curves, demand shifts, etc. Then you have to know like what is a link between it. Now at least we have understood some connections like how it works, then we can easily understand when we have to go into this concept again. We'll be coming aware of all these terms here. So I don't want to stop at every point and I want to rewind it again, because you're also so like you will be getting messed up, and why we have to discuss the same point again and again, it's time waste. So I just cleared it today. Watch this video n number of times until you get understood, and make the note. As I said, every class make the note of all the points, whatever the examples that are very important. You can write the definition, but that's not important. When you give the examples, then only the examiner will also consider that you are familiar with this particular concept. Now until and unless how I explained you with the examples, you don't understand. Like if I don't give any examples, you feel like, oh no, she is just explaining the content, that's it. He's not giving any examples, and lack of examples will always make you confused regarding the content. So that is important. So if you think I have made relevant to the topic and you liked it, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and stay tuned to Shrestha Gnanadayini. Thank you.